Shalom, shalom Israel. First and foremost, I'd like to give our praises and glory to Yahweh, Basham Yahushai, Bashamaka Kodash. The bonus to the elders and apostles of greatness. Stone shalom to you brothers in highways and byways, preaching and teaching this word in sincerity and in truth. This is your brother Shapal from the Jamaica camp. With a lesson based off of this article in the Jamaican Gleaner where it's entitled Jamaica Stands on Corporal Punishment, a direct overreach, says Christian group. Now there was an article similar that was out a couple years ago, which stated that the Jamaican government is looking into banning corporal punishment. So what that means is that you can no longer punish a child, right? There will be laws and penalties, if one punish them child in the way that they want, And what this does is giving the children certain rights and taking away the right to discipline a child, and giving it over to the state, right? Now the state can take your kids, or whatever laws them are going to implement. So here is the church group basically reaching out, because one of the things that I wondered back in the years when I read this article is, the church them not really hit out against government, because government and church basically, them play on the same team, right? But here's an article, but let's just get into this and let's get into some scriptures just to prove that according to the scriptures, according to the Lord Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, saying there's nothing wrong with scolding a child, and it's written all over the scripture. We'll get into that to show you, right? And it's very convenient for one to change the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai when them feel are trying to tailor it to fit their narrative. When it comes to the scriptures, when it fits their needs, when it suits them, they refer to the scripture and say that, with the Bible, especially this government, But what the Bible says, if it doesn't fit in their narrative, then them try to change it somehow, Alright, so the article says the government moved to ban corporal punishment in the home is being challenged by one Christian group which says the state is overreaching. So the the Association of Christians Communicator and Media, the ACCM, said the government focus should be on the establishment of a unit that focus on rebuilding the family while parents cope with the challenge of rearing in Jamaica, child rearing in Jamaica. Because we know the family is being destroyed, right? And this goes back to Esau either, right? And it goes back to even further than that, the curses that the Lord had put upon us. See? So that's why when you're looking at the schools now, there's a lot of death, stabbing up, kids fighting against each other. You have a child the other day, two female young girls, facing off against each other, and one pushed the other one over, hit her head, on a bench, and her neck. Basically, it wasn't fatal, but she had a broken neck, or fractured, should I say. And it was all over the media, the death. Once youth get stabbed or beaten, unconsciously, because a classmate or schoolmate stepped on his shoes. In Montego Bay, you have another male student get put to death, two female students fighting over a loved one, and one of them get put to death, stabbed to death. All of these news been coming out, man. It's very gruesome killings, man, going on in the schools, man. And some of them aren't reported. But as the curses, man. Let me get a scripture. Just a moment. Alright. Now this is Deuteronomy 21. I'll get this scripture just to show you that back in ancient time, you know what? A matter of fact, let me not go there as yet. Let me not go there as yet. Let me get this one in Ecclesiasticus 30 and verse. We start at verse 1. It says, he that loveth his son casteth him off to feel the rod. Right? The rod basically is a beating instrument, right? That he may have joy of him in the future, in the end. So the reason why even me myself is not in the penitentiary, you know what I mean, or not out there doing a lot of madness, you know what I mean, because we all growing out of the inner city, some of us, and exposed to a lot of lifestyle. The reason why, man, is because we had parents, right, who put the rod of correction to us, you know what I mean, you know, and basically instill certain ways, because pain will let you remember. It's like for the noise, you know, you're gonna hear a lot of night elements, you know. But it's a he that chasteth his son shall have joy of him, and shall rejoice among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Right? Though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left behind him. He had left one behind him like himself. While he lived, right, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an adversary against his enemies, and one that shall require kindness of his friends. Now, the way you grow your child, man, is like unto your manner. And your manner is supposed to be one of upright morals. Right? And the moment you do that and you instill those things in your son or your daughter, then automatically them will take off of you what you are. Right? Having the state growing your child, you know, them grow them in a way where them can basically control them. And we're saying this come from Esau Edom, and this come from the Willie Lynch letter, you know what I mean, social programming and all of these things, all these institutions, man, they don't teach your kids nothing, right, but to be slave to this system, right? We can stop that one right there. Let's get back into the article, right? Oh my God, these ads, man. Right, it says, so the effort to curtail long-standing and acceptable disciplinary tools available to parents is a direct overreach by the government, and can only be seen as an effort to replace the role of parents in the home, ACCM said in a statement issued yesterday. Right, and that's the thing. Getting rid of the family, having the family destroyed. It's easy to conquer a family when they're not united. So that's the entire goal, man, to destroy the Israelite family. Right? You can never be, a matter of fact, let me get Psalms, I believe it's Psalms 83, start verse 1. So we can start at verse 2. It says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, Israel people, the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native American Indians. Right? And consult against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. The name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Now that is the key point of me bringing out the scripture. Right? When you go down verse 12, it speaks about these nations. It speaks about the nations. Verse 12 is like it. Right, verse 6 it said the tabernacles of Edom, right, were the Edomites. That's verse 6 giving you the counsel that them the ones that are confederate against Israel. The main and chief enemy, Edom, Esau Edom, which is a so-called white man today, right? Which runs this whole setup, you know. So, seeing, so his plan is to cut off the Israelite man and woman and child from being a nation. The only time it can be a nation is if the family and the unit, you know, that bond, right, is instilled, it's still there, right? And once he know that Israel bond is being repaired, then him know that look, him kingdom of a fall. But right now, it's more bigger than that now, because the Hawashai is setting up the kingdom of heaven right here, you know, starting with the men where you see with the Anaris and the Bibles. See? So Israel is coming back. See? But on a lower level with our people out here in Jamaica and throughout the world where Jake is scattered, you know, we can never be a nation because the Lord has put a curse upon us, right? And he's using Esau, Edom. That's the reason why you see him pulling the family apart, you know. And these are his mandates. You know, it's not the governments of Jamaica or anywhere. But the article is right, man. It's basically taking away rulership from the parents, right, and having the state raise the kids, because it's all about control, right, programming and ultimate control, right. It says the government, right, position is of deep concern, and the family remains the foremost and primary unit of socialization, and the responsibility for discipline of children must remain in the home, right. It's a pushback follows recent pronouncement by Justice Minister Leroy Chuck, indicating that the government is seeking to introduce laws to prevent corporal punishment in the homes. Yeah, so the point right there is that, you know, discipline and all of that should remain in the home with the parents, right? All right, this is a scripture. This is Proverbs 22 and verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Right? So the rearing of one's child is up to the parents. You know what I mean? It's not the government, because the government ideas, you know what I mean, of how we want the society to go is not of his own agenda. Jamaica don't have a independent government trying to do what they want. It's all about Esau, Edom, right? And if you go Ecclesiasticus, let me get that in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus 10 and 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well harder. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of a city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So what manner of ruler, right? The leader of a city, basically. Right? So are all they that dwell therein, because a man will teach him ways. In history, when a race conquer another race, what they do is them delete everything out of their minds of who they were, and trying to instill their own ways into them, right? So they can be controlled, right? Because a man will remember him heritage and him history and all of that. You cannot control him, right? When you remember who you are, your culture, your history, you know, all of that, you cannot be controlled because you're different, and you will always see who the enemy is, right? But no, you can't. right? Because them are going to instill whatsoever and them take you from your young. This is what this institution does, right? And them groom you because you're just an empty vessel. See? So this is what I mean. Where the world is heading now, a one world government that's going to be ultimate control. They need mindless zombies, man, not rebellious people that know the value or know the scriptures, right? Know truth. You know what I mean? To go against what these men are doing, right? So I'm gonna get back in the article. It says the ACCM said while the abuse of children must never be condoned, and that the long arm of the law must bring to justice any, right, parents who abuse their child, right, slapping a child appropriately as slapping a child appropriately as part of the disciplinary measures is not considered abuse, right? This part says slapping wrong. So Chuck said slapping of children is wrong, right? The strap, the whip, the belt must be used to beat any child, must not be used to beat any child. He also said all form of slapping must be pulled from acceptable disciplinary measures, right? We get a scripture because everything what these men say, the scripture, which is the foremost authority on the family, right? Which is where a lot of these men get them morals, so-called, that them have now. You know, whatever is left of it from is the scripture. A lot of these Jamaicans were brought up, you know what I mean, on the values of the scripture. Somewhat, you know, not 100% knowledge. Alright, we get that foolishness is born in the heart of a child. Let me get this. No, I don't want to one as yet. Just a moment. Oh yeah, well, it says the foolishness is born in the heart of a child, and a rod of correction shall drive it far from him. So there's nothing with using a strap or anything like that. But let me show you what happened in ancient Israel, right? And again, we say, before we read the scripture, this is not condoning abuse or anything like that, right? But Israel is a holy people unto the Lord Yahweh Shai, right? And there are certain things that is not allowed, you know, as it pertaining to discipline, right? And this is what the scripture says, what to do with a son or daughter that is rebellious, right, and stubborn. It says Deuteronomy 21 and verse 18. So if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, that when they have chastened him, he will not hearken unto them, right? And then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out into unto the elders of his city, unto the gates of his place. Now, the elders, the mother and the father, if this child is not behaving, shall be brought to the elders of the city, right? And they shall say unto the elders of the city, our son is a stubborn and rebellious, he will not obey the voice, he is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of the city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall thou put away evil from among you, and Israel shall hear and fear. Now I bet the churches will even advocate for the corporal punishment. You know, be pulled back. I bet you 100% that they have not this scripture in their minds, man. You know, and what this scripture is basically telling you is that, look, Israel is not supposed to have these characteristics of a stubborn, rebellious, and unruly drunkard, you know, because that will bring shame upon the family. Remember, scripture tell you in Deuteronomy, I think it's about, it says, it's supposed to be a wise and understanding people, a holy people unto the Lord thy God. Remember what the scripture says about the punishment of these acts. You know, there are consequences for these actions, man. And it's because there's no consequences in society. That is the reason why you see a lot of our children dying every day. See? This was not condoned. You nip it in the bud, man. Once these things arise, boop. You know? And you nip it in the bud. You know what I mean? And it was for Israel to fear. And you know, say, the scripture says, so shall you put away evil from among you, because it's an evil act. And when Israel see that and fear, say, okay, cool, we know that that way is wrong. We will never go that way, man. You know? That's what is missing. That's what is missing in our society. It's like it. As the minister said, every parent must learn to school their child, even to deprive the child of some form of activity or put them in a corner. Look, that's the way Esau Edom do things, man, and that doesn't work. Because regardless of the things that Jacob do, you're not seeing kids shooting up schools and all of these things, man. Killing how much thousands or bombing, you know. That's what they're doing to their kids over there for discipline. And it's not work. It does not work for them, you know. I don't want to bring it over this side. So adding the corporal punishment really works. Minister said the government will advance on a path to stop this practice. According to the minister, the culture of beating children in schools has largely changed with legislation, strong enforcement, and intervention of education minister across the administration. That shift began the last 30 years, and Justice Minister Delroy are hoping that it will soon filter into the homes. Yeah, because I used to do this in the school, you know, for discipline the child, as I said before, man. Those are one of the things where if I was brought up in that era, where if we went to school, man, and even my father, even all of those men, tell them, man, that when them go to school, and even if them late, or if them doing a little thing, disrespectful thing, you know, they will get beaten for it. And make them the person who they are today. It says, ACCM pointed that the high level of discipline and violence in Jamaica, indiscipline and violence in Jamaica school, where the government has fully controlled failing system. This part says it said they speak to a failing system that needs to be urgently addressed, and effective measures must be put in place to prevent any more children from losing their lives while in government care. Further, the association said the absence of the unit that focuses on the family, right, works actively slow to halt and continuous disciplinary disintegration of family structure within society could further increase discipline among Jamaican children. Now, what this government is trying to do, right, it now get better, you know, let's just say that, because one of the things is that it's the curses, you know, that are among our people, that are upon our people, and it's not going to get better. The scripture tells us, it says Isaiah 3 verse 4, say, and I will give children to be their prince, and babes shall rule over them. Right? It said, and the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, every one by his neighbor, and children shall behave themselves proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. Right? But when I say you know have a lot of degenerates, family members, right, that have not been brought up properly in the house, in the homes, and they breed degenerate seeds, right? And so you can't speak to a child and you can't discipline a child and all of that. These are what is happening in society. We're not saying that, but what we're saying is this: look, the punishment for the action, you know what I mean, all of these things what is going on, it leads back to the curses, because we have sinned against the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. Right? The children, when you see nowadays they cannot talk or try to scold them. Scripture says come to set a division. Brother against the sister, the mother against the father, even the child. You know what I mean, against the parents. It's not come to set peace on earth, man. This is not the time when the Lord ever say, oh look, get the family together. No, man. The only thing is being done now is gathering the elect of the nation of Israel. The reason why all of these things happen is because the curses are upon us. Right? The only way we can break this is when the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai send his son, which is Yahweh Shai, right? Which is our kingsman redeemer, right? To take this man out of power, right? And thus the kingdom of heaven will be here on earth. And then we are going to find out, say, look, all the laws that were in the scriptures, we're going to follow them to the T. They never go off. But until once we're here in this society, living in this place, man, all of these rules, you know, being oppressed daily, we're gonna be the same. No matter what them do. You know? Israel is gonna be the same. Right? So with that, we just want to give our praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Kodash, the banners, the elders and the apostles of Agreement Stone. Shalom to you brothers and always and the byways, preaching, teaching his word in sincerity and in truth.